Sterling, thanks so much for joining us. What's your initial reaction to this year's RAC report on motoring?
Constructive. I just hope that all the things put forward and so on are listened to. That is the big problem. I mean, there are many things we know that are glaring examples of the government not really getting their finger out and doing things, and I just hope that this will help.
Now, what of this idea, perhaps controversial, that older motorists ought to take a refresher course?
Times have changed an awful lot, and driving is quite different now to it was 10 or 20 years ago, and I think anything that refreshes the people's idea of what it's about is a good thing. I think that if they go out and they drive around and see how the roads have changed and the whole mechanics of driving have changed, I think it's a good thing, and I can only hope that people will do that. And what's more likely to make them do it, if anything, is if they've got to have a refresher test, because they're going to say, gosh, I must brush up, and that's a good thing.
And what form would you like to see that test take?
I think just that you go out with an examiner, obviously, and show him that you still use the rear view mirror. And I don't know that I actually put my handbrake on every time I stop, to tell you the truth, but you know that you do drive competently, and that you're able to go find the way onto a motorway and out off, and your lane discipline and things like that. I think there's quite a lot of things I think that older drivers like myself, if they're not driving continually, might not know about or may not respect. So I think it's a good idea.
And what of regular medical and eye tests?
I think it's good. I mean, if a person isn't fit to drive, then I don't think you should drive. And I'm sure there are people out there whose eyesight is not as good as it should be, and if they can't get corrective lenses that are good enough to be safe for themselves and others, then I think they shouldn't be driving, frankly.
Now, moving on to other motorists, it's suggested the drink-drive limit ought to be reduced still further.
I think it's a good idea. I mean, it's very difficult because the amount of alcohol a person can consume is different to every person. There's no doubt about it. And you know, if you've had a meal, if you haven't. So, but I do think it's quite wrong to drive when you've been drinking. I really do. I think that if you're going to go out and you're going to drink, then okay, go with somebody who isn't going to drink. And if you can't do that, well, then get a bus or a car home. I mean, well, not a car, a friend's car, not yours. I think I take a very dim view, actually, of drink driving. I think it's very unnecessary.
And should there be tougher sanctions for people who use their mobile phones in cars?
I think they should be much stricter on that. I've never seen anybody pulled over because they're on the telephone, yet I've seen many, many people on the phone. It's quite wrong. You can be on the phone without having it up to your ear and all this sort of stuff. And I think they should crack down on it a lot harder, actually.
Now, on the subject of cars, what do you think of this new generation of electric vehicles that's coming out?
Oh, terrific. I'm all for it. I mean, I actually saw 2 electric vehicles on charge the other day, which was quite astounding. They've got this curly thing going up. No, I've driven one. I think they're absolutely terrific in town. Obviously, it's got to go a lot further. They've got to get greater mileage and so on and so forth. But no, I'm all for them. I think electric urban cars are a thing of the future.
Sterling, as ever, it's been a pleasure. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you. Thank you very much.